Okay, today's video is the water pump for the dually. Going back in, hopefully button the truck up, get it running again. I'm going to show you the new parts I got here. I got a new water pump and got a new water pump housing. Show you the front and back of the water pump here. Got the kit with all the O-rings and gaskets you need to put all this back in the truck. Also got 2 new thermostats. I guess it's always a good idea when you're changing the water pump to change the thermostats. I've always heard that was a good idea. I'm not really sure where I heard that, but I don't know if diesels are the same. These thermostats are not cheap. I got a front and the rear. You can tell the rear one by it's got the holes in the back and it is offset. It's not centered. That one goes to the rear and these holes have to go up to the rear too. I'll show you that when I install that. I did go with a new housing. Why did I go with a new housing? I know I had some threads that were stripped out on the old piece, but that really wasn't the reason I got a new housing, because those threads could have been, I could have drilled that out, tapped it, and helicoiled it. The reason I got a new one is because of what I saw on the inside of the old one, and I'll go show you that right now. Okay, this is the reason I got a new housing, is that right there. Now, when I first opened this up and I saw that, I thought that that was a casting mark. That was in the part when it was made. But going on Merchant Automotive website and looking at water pump parts, I was just checking out the housing, and they say that if you have corrosion like this, which is what this is not a casting mark, that you should get a new housing so you don't have any leaks. So that is what I did. So with the corrosion on the old pump, I just went ahead and got a whole new housing. You can see there are no, it's perfectly smooth in there. So another thing is that I got this water pump, and I got all these parts from Merchant Automotive. And again, the reason I go to these guys is because they know the Duramax. And like I said, I didn't know anything about the corrosion, but going on their site, made me aware of that problem. And that's why I go to these guys, that's why I keep going back. Another thing why I go to them is their water pumps are TIG welded. The gear and the impeller are TIG welded to the shaft there. Why do they do that? I guess there has been problems with water pumps. So, they deal with them every day. They know the problems, and they fix them. And this is an example of why I went with Merchant Automotive, is because they know what they're doing, and you get stuff like this to prevent future problems. So with all the parts laid out and ready to go, I'm going to I guess assemble this water pump here first thing, and then I'll go from there. Okay, I just put my water pump in the housing. Used the water pump cover, O-ring in there. Lubed it with coolant. It's on the inside there. You can't see it now. These 3 bolts are reinstalled. For the LB7, it is 15 foot-pounds. I like to use my inch-pound torque wrench to do a small number like that, so you don't go over. This is aluminum, so you got to be careful. I guess I gotta put my studs in here. I gotta transfer it from the old pipe or the old water pump, and I guess this is ready to go back in. Okay, here's the old water pump. The O-ring goes right in here. Is where that goes. Okay, I got my O-ring for my engine to water pump. I got that on there. I got my studs on my housing transferred over. I got the gasket on there. And I am ready to put this in now. Okay, I got it slid in. You kind of got to wiggle it a little bit to get the gears to mesh up on the water pump. And what I did is I fed it onto the outlet pipe right there, the studs. I actually fed the studs onto that first and then slid it in. Then you've got the 2 bolts and the 1 stud, and them bolts are 15 foot-pounds from the 01 to I guess 03, then 04 and up. 04 to 07 is 18 foot-pounds, I guess. I'm not sure why there's a little bit of difference like that, but there is. I guess the water outlet pipe, they got a torque on them too. It's 15 foot-pounds too, but I don't think you're gonna get a torque wrench in there, so I'm gonna get them good and snug, and then go on from there. Okay, the lower radiator hose is hooked back up now. Hopefully that thing is okay. I know that's a spendy piece, but if I had the money I would just replace it, but that's not going to happen right now. Hopefully it's in good shape. It looks okay. It looks like there's been some leakage, but hopefully that was from the water pump. I'm cleaning up some pieces right now, painting some pieces. Next thing to go in will be this bypass pipe. Okay, it's time to install this bypass pipe here. I just got it mocked in right now. Just seeing how it's going to fit. And it's kind of even a struggle without the O-ring up in here. And this is the part of the job that I'm most nervous about. Trying to get this pipe in here and without destroying this O-ring. I've heard a few people having trouble with getting this O-ring to reseal, or wrecking the O-ring when they're putting it back in, having to pull it all out and do it again. And not only that, but I got this piece of steel that's got to go in here. I got to do that also while I'm putting that in there and not destroying that O-ring. So kind of a lot going on here, and I guess there's only one way to do it here, and just give her a try. Okay, this is how I'm going to tackle her. I got my rubber hose on here first. Got my O-ring down on my water pump. I'm going to lube the O-ring on my pipe really good here. I mean, really going to lube this baby up. And think about using some sort of grease to help really get that in there without having trouble. But I don't know, I'll see here. Okay, I got her in. I did end up putting a little bit of grease on this O-ring there just to make sure that it was nice and slippery. This also, I had a little trouble with this. And what you're gonna have to do is there is a bolt right there that holds this steel pipe right there, and once you take that out you can move it back, and then you gotta spin this a little bit and get her hooked up. And I'm gonna get some clamps on there. It came with the stupid pinch clamps, but I'm gonna put some regular clamps on there. So that went okay. Hopefully I didn't damage any O-ring there. And I'm just hoping I don't have any leaks or anything. I'm gonna button down the bolts right here. I gotta fix the one because it tore up the threads on my other housing, so I gotta clean up the threads on that. And I'm going to bolt that down next. Okay, I got my clamps on, got my bolts in. I just put a new bolt in here instead of trying to fix the old one. I had one. 15 foot-pounds for these. Looks like pretty much everything's 15 foot-pounds on that water pump. I reinstalled my stud that come out here, and I guess I'm ready for... I guess I probably should put my lower shroud in now. Then I can probably, I'm painting my pulley for the fan. So that's got to dry. Then I can put that on. Then I can put my balancer back on. Okay, before I put that lower radiator shroud, I'm going to reinstall my intercooler pipe on the driver's side. I think that'll be easier to access with that shroud off. So I'm going to do that. Okay, next I'm going to put in the new thermostats. There's the housing right there. That's where they're in. The easiest way I can figure to get this out is going to be taking the oil filler tube off, and then if you follow it around, it's connected to that hose right there. It's the upper radiator hose. I took off one bolt there, and there's another one on the other side. It's going to be hard to show you, but it's got to come off too. That'll release that so I can hopefully tilt this up and get those thermostats out. There's just two bolts holding this oil thing on, right there and right there. Both of them are there. 12 millimeter. Okay, the oil fill tube is out. It's just got an O-ring. Wiggle it out. Okay, 4 bolts here on this housing, gets it out. Again, 12 millimeter socket. Seems to be what they used with all this water or all this coolant stuff. A little tricky to get that up. She did not want to come. I had to kind of give her a pry from back here, and so even now it doesn't really want to come up very good. These gaskets stuck really bad. You can see that one tore even coming out, the rear one. So I'm going to have to clean it up as good as I can, and I'm going to drop the new ones in. Okay, the only thing you got to watch out for with these thermostats is this is the rear thermostat. You can see it's offset and it's got two holes right there. These holes have to face the rear of the engine. So it's going to basically sit in the engine like this. So that's the only thing you got to make sure you do. The other one doesn't matter where it goes, just drop it in there good. And make sure you got your new seals on, because that is what seals this housing. There is no gasket on there, you notice, because these thermostats have their own seal there. Okay, I got my new thermostats dropped in. And I'm not sure why that rear one has to have the holes facing backwards, but the manual says to do it that way, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, got her bolted back down. For the LB7, those are 15 foot-pounds for the thermostat housing, and for all others it's 18 foot-pounds. I'm going to clean up and paint my oil fill tube before I drop it back in there. I'm going to lube up my O-ring. I don't have a new O-ring for that, so I'm just going to lube it up, stick her back in there, and hopefully she'll be okay. Well, she's coming together fast now. You can see I got my oil filler back in. I got my idler back on. I got the idler pulley for the fan in. Those bolts are 34 foot-pounds for those. I got my balancer in, and that is torqued down to 2002 and earlier are 278 foot-pounds, and 2003 and later are you do it in 2 steps. You do 74 foot-pounds, and then you tighten it at another 105 degrees. Where they come up with that, I have no idea, but that's what the book tells me. I got the lower shroud in, and that, from what I can tell, is only held in by that little clip right there, and that is on the lower radiator hose. It's part of that clip right there, and my camera won't focus. Imagine that. And then there is another hose right here. This is the power steering hose, the new one I just put on. It's held on right here, and so it don't hit the power steering pulley. And I believe that's it. Oh, I got my intercooler pipe back in. Had a little trouble with some of these clamps being rusty, so I had to put blaster on them and work them. So that's in, and I believe that's it. The pile of parts is getting smaller. You can see this is pretty much all I got left. Fan, upper shroud, belt. Now this is the little plate that covers the inspection plate on the transmission. That's got that. I got that tool in there yet to hold the flywheel, so that's got to come out. And then it's just shields. I got the inner fenders are out. I'm gonna wait though on them, because I'm gonna fill it up with antifreeze and power steering fluid, and make sure it's not leaking. Transmission control module goes back on the fan there, and then I got a skid plate I got to clean up here before I put that in there. Like I said, I'll probably fire it up before I put all my skid plates and inner fenders in, so I can take a good look and make sure nothing's leaking. So I guess the next time I pop back in here, I will pretty much have everything done. And then I guess we'll go through the how to bleed the cooling system. And I got my air cleaners got to go back on too, so I will see you guys in a second here. Okay, another thing you're going to want to do is make sure you plug in everything you've unplugged as you're putting this back together. This is the camshaft position sensor. It's got to be unplugged to remove the fan pulley. So I got that plugged in. Also, down here, when I was messing with the outlet pipe there of the water pump. Okay, another sensor that I unplugged to get the water pump out. I can barely show it to you here, but it's right there. And that is actually the sending unit, the oil pressure sending unit. And that's an LB7 only sensor there. So I got that plugged in. I can't even reach in there right now, and I don't even think I could plug that in right now. I did it before I put the intercooler pipe in, which is I think the only way to do it. Okay, everything's back together. Belt, fan shroud, fan. I am having trouble here. This fan is hitting the bottom of the radiator shroud because that new hose I put on is like pushing up on the lower section of the radiator hose. So I'm going to raise it up. I got to pull my my flywheel holder out anyway, and I'm still going to see if I can't bend the line a little bit, push it down or something, so it stops pushing on the shroud. And it's not hitting right now, it don't sound like, but it was hitting, so can't have that. Okay, truck's up in the air, and this is the problem I had with right there is the hose that was hitting the bottom of the radiator shroud. I kind of pulled on it, bend it down a little bit. Should be good to go there. To get my flywheel tool off, I had to get a big wrench, get it on the balancer bolt, put a bar on that, and just give it just a tiny bit of a turn to release the tool that was in there, because it was jammed in there. I couldn't just get it out. There it is. Awesome tool, works great. So, going to slide my cover back on there, and I'm done under here, except for skid plates and stuff, but I'll put them on once I know everything's not leaking. Okay, she's back down on the ground, and all the issues seem to be resolved right now. So, I guess this is where I'm going to end this video. I'll start another one with how to bleed the cooling system, I guess, and the power steering system. And so I guess that's going to be it for this video. I think it's going to get too long if I keep going with this one. So that's it for the water pump install video, and I'll start with the cooling system bleeding for the next video, and see you guys in the next one.